I wanted to ask you about your first film, The Jews of Nigeria. What exactly inspired you to even, pursue a topic like that? And what is the connection between the Jews and the people of Nigeria or Africa in general? Sometimes you hear about the East Africans, maybe Ethiopia, but not so much Nigeria.
Well, I think each country and each ethnic group may have their own connection to Judaism. It's not necessarily that each connects the same way. For example, the Ethiopians have very concrete ties to the Jewish people and to biblical Jews, different from the Igbo or Nigerians in general. And that may be they have similar connections, but those haven't been found yet. So there's still a lot of theories as to how the Igbo may connect to the Jewish people. It could just be from exposure to travelers through the Sahara, through the Sahel, traders who had come through and exposed them to certain things. So it's hard to know exactly the exact origins. There's certain Igbo who believe that that the 10 lost tribes or 12 lost tribes are scattered and could have ended up in somewhere like Western Africa. So there's all sorts of different theories and possibilities. The thing that I thought was more interesting and more compelling was two things, basically. One is that the Igbo have a lot of similar cultural traditions and similarities in language between what the Igbos traditionally did and Jewish culture, like circumcision and certain eating and dietary requirements, restrictions, certain life cycle events, certain ways that women are asked to observe certain traditions during their menstrual cycle in Igbo culture, very similar to what very traditional Jewish people do. So there was all those similarities. But the most compelling thing I thought was that here is a group of people who are practicing Judaism unbeknownst to the rest of the world, really. And they're doing it with such compassion and with such conviction that who is anyone to deny someone from practicing Judaism or saying that they're Jewish when they're practicing with such conviction? And this is with very few resources. I don't know if it's the same is true in Ghana, but in Nigeria, I was told that it was very difficult to find Jewish items, that you can't just order things on Amazon, that credit cards aren't a thing, that basically you're limited to what's available in your area to purchase. So Jewish people like myself, often like pick and choose when we want to practice Judaism, when it's convenient, when it's available, when it's interesting. And here are people who are very, very devout, very, very religious, very, very committed to this whole idea of being a practicing Jew. And so therefore I wanted to sort of present that idea as like, okay, here is a people who are really committed to this practice and religion and continuing the traditions. And can we just accept them for who they are?
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. You made some good points. That's really, really interesting. I guess I could ask you, what was the reception of the film once you finished? Did you get a lot of pushback, or were people like, blown away by the information you were sharing, or was it kind of mixed?
Yeah, I'd say it is mixed. I mean, I'm getting still to this day reactions from people who are like, "This is impossible. This is some sort of scam. This is some sort of wishful thinking, maybe." And then there are other people who are just blown away by the beauty of it all and how touching it is. And it comes from all sides. I get comments a lot on YouTube on the trailer from people in Africa saying that this is, impossible, and that people have been misled and that type of thing. But I think the general consensus among most people who actually see the whole film is that there really is no denying that this exists, and saying that it's not true based on some sort of belief that you may have doesn't change anything. It doesn't mean that they're going to stop. It doesn't mean that you have the say over what they do. In the film, I sort of delve into like genetic testing and whether that would prove anything. And ultimately, I think one of the scholars in the film presents it the best way, and it's like, so what if they prove genetically yes or they prove genetically no? Again, it's not going to change who they are or what they're doing. So why even bother? And if you've genetically tested a lot of Western Jewish people, you may not get the results you want necessarily anyways. So it's a very slippery slope. And Judaism has many shades and many ethnicities. And if you look at the people of Israel today, and it's a real cosmopolitan of Middle Eastern and African and Western people, and people from all sorts of ethnicities. So, and that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I appreciate you taking out the time to even, tackle a project like that. Definitely.